There is one reoccurring case in Australian politics that gives me, I guess, uh, I'm trying to think of the right word, but either makes me extremely frustrated, feel extremely angry, and disappointed in our political system, as is the case between Brittany Higgins and her boss, Reynolds. The reason why I find this so frustrating is that we're talking about a woman. Now, it doesn't matter whether you agree with her or not, this is irrelevant to some extent. It is really about a woman where there is little doubt that she was raped by Bruce Lehrman in Parliament House in the office of Reynolds. And that the woman has gone through hell, and as would be the case with any woman who has experienced a situation like that. And it was clearly felt that she was not believed, that Reynolds in particular made some statements about her in relation to her just being a cow, and a whole host of other terrible things that Reynolds has allegedly done. And of course, these issues have been fought out in court, and at the end of the day, Brittany Higgins has lost that case. But what concerns me most is the differential that sits between these two women in terms of power. One of them is an extremely powerful woman who was a minister of defence and who was a senator, and another who was simply her staff member. No one really of significance, yet someone who was wronged greatly by an abusive, disgraceful, and disgusting human being in Bruce Lehrman. Now, one can argue that I guess Brittany perhaps shouldn't have said some of the things that she did. Maybe she didn't know enough information. Maybe what she said was hearsay, and maybe she shouldn't have posted that on X. I'm not going to debate any of that issue because I don't think it's all that relevant. But what I am going to talk about, though, which is the issue that concerns me, is how this power differential has played out and how Reynolds has used it to beat up a woman who was a rape victim. That is what horrifies me. And I think any woman who wants to support women who have been raped or have been abused by men should be horrified at the way Reynolds has continually kept going at this woman. And so there's two issues that have occurred in recent times. And I guess the first one is that Brittany Higgins, even though she was paid over $2 million for what happened to her, and rightfully so, I believe, that at the end of the day, she now has had to declare bankruptcy because of the defamation case brought by Reynolds. Now, I watched an interview with Sarah Ferguson with Reynolds, which is a really an unbelievably soft interview. I thought Sarah could have had a more industrious and journalistic interview than what she did. I don't know whether she was afraid of Reynolds and what Reynolds might do if she asked her a question that Reynolds didn't like, but nevertheless, it was pretty soft, and it kind of at every avenue, every corner, every turning point, it seems that Reynolds seems to get off the hook. And but the concerning point to me is her relentless attack on Brittany Higgins, a rape victim. It is concerning. So we'll go to this particular article, which is in The Guardian, where it says Brittany Higgins declared bankrupt after Linda Reynolds wins defamation case. And my issue here is that it could have been possible for Reynolds to have forgotten all of this, to have not pursued it. It didn't matter all that much. She was more interested in how it reflected on her. No consideration for how any of these issues reflected on Brittany. None at all. Couldn't give a shit about Brittany and the impact on her. Former Defence Minister application to have former staff bankrupted has been approved in a Western Australian court. Brittany Higgins has been bankrupted by her former boss, bringing Linda Reynolds one step closer to discovering where her former political staff's $2.4 million compensation payout went. So she is concerned, and this is the point here, she is concerned about the money that Brittany has received as a result of that $2.4 million compensation. Now, I want to ask you, do you know of any other case where someone's been paid out X amount of dollars and then someone sues them or puts into place an inquiry in order to find out where that money has gone? That is unheard of, in my view, and yet that is what that's what Linda Reynolds is planning to do. It is horrible because basically she is a horrible human being. Reynolds, a former Liberal leader, a senator, launched bankruptcy proceedings in October against Higgins after successfully suing her for defamation. The federal court judge, Michael Frutrell, on Friday made orders to sequestrate Higgins' estate under the Bankruptcy Act after a series of minor setbacks and technical difficulties that slowed the process. And the date of the act of bankruptcy was backdated to 8th of October. So here we have a woman who has been assaulted and abused in Linda's office, now is still continually being attacked to the point whereby not only is she bankrupt, she has to show where that money has gone. And I would suggest that perhaps a lot of that money has actually gone to lawyers and to her legal fees. But anyway, that will be discovered later on. But the point is that here is Linda Reynolds continuing over and over again this attack. And of course, then there is the NACC. So NACC have decided that, or it's been sent to the NACC in order to have them further investigated. And here is a bit of Sky News interpretation of all of that.
Other topics. It's been a busy news day. In the last few hours, Brittany Higgins is now officially bankrupt after the federal court on today formally actually approved that, of course, following her defamation case lost to former Senator Linda Reynolds. And just on that, Linda Reynolds has also indicated that she would ask the corruption watchdog to reopen its investigation into that $2.4 million settlement that was, of course, handed to Brittany Higgins from Labor. Would you support an inquiry?
I would absolutely support the NACC reopening this investigation. The National Committee, the Anti-Corruption Commission, it is set up to establish and investigate whether there was any systemic or corrupt conduct on the part of government officials. What we have here is a stench over this whole affair. We've seen a payment made to Brittany Higgins by the government of some $2.4 million. And let's just put this in perspective. For the average Australian punter, Danica, that's 27 years of blood, sweat and tears.
I think personally that is a disgusting argument. So this dude is probably going to suggest that if a woman is sexually assaulted and she sues the organisation who she believes either covered up or didn't help her or assist her in dealing with the sexual assault, that somehow those people should be investigated for whatever amount of money is paid by the government or the organisation or the corporation, or whichever the case might be. But at the end of the day, it was Lehman who did the rape. So I think it's atrocious. I think Linda Reynolds is a disgusting human being. And I think that there should be an outcry from the public over the way Brittany Higgins has been treated. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Remember to subscribe to my videos and ring the bell for further notifications. Take care.